Hi everyone, it's actually been a couple of months and I did tell people I would be making an update video and here's that video. Okay, now onto the BDD side of things. So, a lot of people have been wondering, well, have I made improvements? I would say yes and no, I've made improvements. I mean, I definitely have my good days and then I have my bad days. And the bad days obviously being worse than the good days. I do still think I'm ugly, and that has big far-reaching problems for the perception that I hold of myself. So it's kind of like my perception switches and then it has me focusing on a particular part of my body, and perhaps maybe it's not the same part of my body every single time. Like, I'll switch, sometimes it'll be my nose, a lot of times maybe it'll be my eyes or how my hair looks or what I look like when I open my mouth, for instance, that sort of thing. And a really big thing is there's often sometimes a stigma involved with being a skinny guy, and you know, I'll a lot of times I think women want medium-sized people or maybe even buff people, and I get to thinking like, well, I'm a skinny guy, no one will really ever like me. A lot of people also recommended a new hairstyle, so right here it is, a new hairstyle. What do you guys think? So, some people are like, man, your hair, you need to change it, and it kind of just grows in that way. I really can't change it. I mean, besides just having it all shaved off, but there's some problems with that. If I want a new hairstyle, it makes it nearly impossible because I have a colic, and and I've been told by one barber who I go to at the University of Michigan, who says basically been he's basically been cutting hair since like the 50s, and he says the colic is really challenging to cut past. And so yeah, that basically is what makes it impossible for me to get a new hairstyle. I kind of just have to style it like this and hope for the best, because I do have enough hair that I can style it. So yeah. But other than that, it just grows in like that. There's nothing I can really do. However, for this video, I kind of just want to talk about the main point I was going to make for the video, and it's kind of what I like to call being in the ugly rut. And the ugly rut is a zone that people will find themselves in. It's the ugly zone, basically. And it happens when a person inadequately feels paired in their own body. So you yourself with your body, you just feel like the matchup is wrong. Really a pervasive pattern that people like me will find themselves in. For instance, the biggest problem that I have is I'll end up staying awake all night when I get like this, and I won't be able to fall asleep, probably not the whole night, because I'll feel really ugly, and that'll be the big problem for me. I'll stay awake all night just feeling very, like, just have a grotesque feeling about myself. And that's the big problem, and I'll explain why it's a really big problem. It's really these nights, the nights that I have, that are the worst. I'll end up staying awake the whole night, as I've said, and the biggest part of it is that the internet is a very powerful negative tool of reinforcement, or excuse me, a tool for negative reinforcement, basically. And it's not hard for me to attain a specific state of mind about how I'm ugly, and then go on the internet and find an answer that I'm looking for that basically reinforces what I'm thinking about myself. The biggest challenge is actually isolating myself from these feelings, because I find it actually incredibly frustrating. A person with BDD wants to become very vindicated for how they feel. They want the proof that they're the ugly that they feel they are in their own minds. But the biggest issue is that, I have these feelings, and it doesn't really matter, because I already know I'm ugly. So there's nothing I can really do to help myself in that regard. Obviously, a response for myself has to come from stopping these thoughts and stop staying up really late. So thanks. That's the end of my update video. Thank you all for watching.